Okay,
Yeah.
I'll give it a minute. Hey, Kelly. And there's Catherine. Here's somebody new, Lindsay. Lindsay
Hey,
Stick.
Mike.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Lindsay.
Hello.
Have you done weapons before?
I have not. I'm totally new.
Okay. What do you got a sword? What do you have?
I have this sword.
Oh, okay. Well, you got a real one. All right, great.
Not okay.
Oh, oh wait, that's a saber. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Later we'll talk about well, So if you have a stick or you have, I think I mentioned the other day, I have a collapsible sword, and it's got just a little tiny. It's got a little tiny thing. I don't know if you remember Ed. I think it was Ed, and he got some little. He was having trouble controlling his uh, tassels. They come in different sizes, and then he gets a little tiny one just like this, and even smaller than this. It's like they were only like this long or something, and so like it was just some little tiny thing, so it could never wrap around his wrist, and that's a little bit cheating. So you want to like have some way to practice the tassel management actually, but uh, whatever. At this point, at the very beginning, it doesn't make that much difference. Okay. All right. So welcome everybody. I thought I don't know how many people we have, but we have 10 or 9 right now, so we'll just get started. Um, this is the sword. I'll put this over here. This is the sword. This is the blade. It's got 2 edges on it. Okay, that's the difference between the sword and the saber. The saber just has 1 edge. On the saber also, we can put our hand on the back of it because it's not sharp, and push it, use it. But you can't do that with a sword. So something about the blade for Yang style or a Tai Chi sword, maybe other ones too, but anyway, Yang style. That this part, this few inches here, is not sharp. Okay, it's not sharpened all the way down. So we hold it a funny, maybe it looks like a funny way. We put our thumb there, okay, on the here's the guard, the inside on the blade side of the guard, and we hold it like this, okay. So, but we can do that because it's not sharp. Even a real one that would be sharpened is not sharp here, so we could hold it that way. Okay, so that's the how the blade kind of works. Um, this is the guard. It protects you if they try, come across their weapon. It will hit this and not your fingers, not cut them off. That's good. And we hold it on the handle. Here's the handle. This is the pommel. Okay, and then here's the tassel, and the tassel comes in like can be different, but this is like a medium-sized tassel. It's kind of a counterweight, so it gives some weight. My weight for my sword, I don't know what yours is like, but is about here. Here's the middle of it, so it bounces there. And so with a heavier tassel, it'll make the weight shift more to the handle. And for no tassel, then the weight comes out more into the blade. This is kind of an old sword. I've had, maybe almost 20 years or so. And this is balanced. Well, I told you where it's balanced. The newer ones that the association is selling, I think the balance is more like almost in the handle, I think. Where's yours? Yeah, really close to the handle.
Got a
So when
new
I
one.
use
It's
one of
right
those, it
at
feels
the
really
handle.
weird.
Yeah, it's right at the handle.
Yeah, so that feels weird to me. So I'm used to the balance being here. It feels weird. At the very beginning, maybe you won't notice, okay? But if I have to use somebody else's and it's one of those, it doesn't feel right to me. So, but mine feels, if you were going to use it, it feels a little blade heavy, okay? But the blade heaviness is okay for chopping. It gives you some chopping feeling. And for me, those newer ones, it feels very light, like like you're not really moving anything around when you do this because the weight is right here. Anyway, uh, partly I think the new ones also have um, heavier, and that's part of it, heavy tassels. And so I've saved an extra set of this weight of tassel if I ever have to do demos or something. Well, I don't want to lose this one. I've already tied it once. I already broke once. But anyway, so when later you need to control the tassel because like if you go to do certain things like here's a big circle, you go like this and then the tassel goes and it wraps around your wrist, and now when you're trying to do things, it's like in the way, and it can like, make it so you can't use your weapon correctly. That could be dangerous if it was doing it for real. So we practice controlling that kind of thing and making it not happen, okay? And there's a few movements that it's likely to happen at. So if you have a tassel, then you can practice like how you might make a little circle and have the tassel go in a circle, but not move much of anything else. So just a little circle with the tassel. And we do other movements like slicing. So very often we would say, like for instance, if you're going to like do some kind of chopping, that the tassel goes first and then the blade. So it's a little bit of a distraction, right? The people you're fighting someone, and then you're doing your weapon a certain way. The tassel is going towards them. They react to the tassel and block it or whatever. But then, here comes the blade. They were faked out a little bit. So it has. That's kind of the thing it has. You can also like hide things in there, like something sharp. And so they could actually, if the tassel hit them, maybe cut them or something like that. So those are like, but now it's just basically for show. But like I said, we do have longer ones, and it's harder to control. If you do have little tiny baby ones, then you don't have to worry about it at all. But then it doesn't do the distracting part or anything. So part of learning the sword is to control the tassel also. Okay, so there's nobody around, but you want to be careful of your furniture maybe in the floor. So usually when we move the sword around, except for thrusting, and then the tip comes out a lot, then we often have the tip kind of tucked in, the thing kind of tucked in, okay? We're going to make a circle. We were just talking about the saber. It comes up and it's kind of tucked back, okay? Not sticking out. Then it's going to hit your ceiling, okay? But it's kind of, when it's doing certain things like this, it's like maybe, up to 90 degrees. Not bigger than 90 degrees, like hardly ever, all right? That's sticking out too far. If we were in a room with a bunch of our friends, we might cut them, right? So just naturally, you just sort of keep it in control the tip. When there's other people around, when you're going to carry your saber or your sword, either weapon around, the way we'd walk around, we would tip down and walking around holding the handle like this, okay? That way, you can talk, you can move around and not be worried. Everybody has to have that habit, okay? So, and not, before we use it, we're like this with the tip up, but that's dangerous, when you turn around and you poke somebody in back of you or something. So we are not lined up. When you're lined up, then you can get ready and put it in this position, but otherwise we walk around with it like this, okay, for safety. Okay. Well, that's basically what the weapon is like. Okay, so we have two short weapons. I'm not as much of an expert of the weapons as I should be, I guess. The saber and the sword. The sword is the lighter than the saber. We use it a little bit more. It's more. It's not as heavy as the saber. We use the saber. It's for more like chopping and slashing with mainly. And the sword, there's a lot more techniques you can do. If you look in the journals, you should all be members probably of the association. If you look in the journals, there's a description of the sword and sword techniques in there. When we learn it, I will tell you what we're going to do with it. I don't know all the Chinese names for it, but I think I know most of the, basically what we call the applications of it. But anyway, you can look in the journals. The journals we have online, and you can. I think it's got the whole sword form and the whole saber form. I think in there. All right, so to look at that with photos of Master Yang and descriptions of how to do it. Okay. Okay. Well, so anybody have any questions so far? It's not a lot to have questions on, probably. All right. So here's how we hold the sword before we start the form. Before we start the form, put out your left arm. Okay, and palm up, and then put the guard, okay, in your palm. Okay, and the blade, the edge basically, the blade going to your elbow. Okay, here's your inside elbow. and put it there, and then put your thumb on the blade side. Can you see? Let's see. Turn this down. Hold on. Okay, palm, and then put the handle. Oops. In the in your palm, and then your thumb is on the blade side, and then put two fingers on the your other two fingers, little finger and the other finger, on the other side of the guard. Oh boy, this is difficult. Okay, and then two fingers on the wood. Okay, of the handle. Okay, so then it looks like this from this direction. Okay, so that's how we hold it to get ready to use it. Okay, and we do one other thing. There's two ways, and there's a couple ways to do this too. Master Yang, I do it that way, so I'll just tell you how to do that to start with. Take your little finger and put the tassel in your little finger, and then hold the tassel close to the guard. Okay, like that. So that's how we stand before we start the form. Okay. There's another way, and the way Master Yang Zhendua, his grandfather, did it, and he would hold the tassel itself, okay, in his little finger. Okay, so he would do it that way. But that's a little bit harder to do it. So I do it this other way. You can put it there, pull it up, and then hold it like that. Okay, so that's how you hold it. We don't hold it with it just sort of flopping around and then like this, and it's touching the ground for me even. Okay, so it keeps it off the ground and not getting dirty. And okay, so that's how we hold it. All right, and it comes up, and it should be touching basically your forearm. For me, the edge is touching my forearm, and it should touch up to your elbow. And if you bend your elbow, see, it's just along your forearm. Okay, when you stand like this, but it's on your forearm, and you cannot see very well. It's you try to stand and make it be straight up and down. Okay, so for our prepare, we stand with our feet shoulder width apart, and our right hand is open, and you stand like this. Okay, both arms down, one hand open, the other one holding the sword, and with it straight up and down, and it's touching your elbow. All right, not your shoulder. Don't try to put on your shoulder and hold it there. It's on your forearm. Okay. Okay, and when at the end we put it back there. All right. Then when you bring it back down, it points up. It looks like it's close to your shoulder, but don't try to touch your shoulder with it. It's not supposed to be touching your shoulder necessarily. It touches your forearm. Okay. All right. So let's look at how to. Let's look at a little bit of an exercise then with it. Okay. So we have a 3-point exercise that we like to do. And I will say that, who's new? Let's see. Dita, I think, is new. Who's new to the sword? Judy, really? Oh, okay. And Alan and Lindsay. Okay. And Catherine has done it before, right? And Chu has done it before. Okay. All right. So here's the thing we want to do, and it takes a lot of practice. And so this is something you should practice for quite a while, and I'll try to do some practice the next few weeks and watch you do it and try to correct you a little bit. Okay, so this is what we want to do. There's the main thing that we do in a lot of places is we do chopping. A chop looks like this. If you hold this sword basically like this, and it can hang down a little bit, but you hold it. Oh, you know how about holding it. When you're holding it and you're going to use it, these two fingers and your thumb go around the guard, close to the guard, okay? And then you can close it like this, all right? But these two fingers have to be around it. You can't hold it like this with your thumb open or something. You would drop it, okay? So these two fingers and your thumb make a circle that hold it. Doesn't have to be tight all the time, but it should go around it in a circle, and then you won't accidentally drop it, all right? There's times that we're throwing it out, okay? You need to we change our grip actually quite a lot, but mainly we want to hold it with these two fingers and your, not just one finger, two, and your thumb, okay? And you hold it not in the middle of the handle, you hold it all the way up to the guard, okay? So that's how you hold it. All right, so Now that I said that, right away we can loosen it a little bit, but still my fingers are by the guard. So you can loosen these other two fingers. These last two fingers are kind of for stabilizing it. Okay, make it like, for instance, we're going to hold it straight up and down. We can't hold it just like this, so we have to open our hand some, but still hold it with these two fingers and a thumb. And then you can hold it with your other fingers and make it point straight up and down. So something we like to do is be able to hold it and point it straight up and down. So we'll do it this way. Tip up and try to make it point straight up and down. Can you see that in, I don't know, if you have a mirror, or can you see it in your video of yourself or something, straight up and down. So it doesn't matter that much here, but at home, maybe in front of a mirror, look in the mirror, okay, is it straight up and down? You need to be able to feel it. It needs to be, you know, basically. So I've got my other two fingers fanning out, see, and my little finger pointed down to help steady it, and then my fourth finger is kind of helping to push it to make it straight up and down. So I use these bottom two fingers kind of to push on it, and the first two fingers to wrap around it and hold it, okay? And it should feel kind of like you've got some friction there. Look, that it doesn't, you can't move it around easily. It's not just loosely, just accidentally pointing straight up and down. It's, you're making it be straight up and down, okay? So that's one trick, not trick, but that's one of the grips that we have, okay, to hold it this way. We use this grip in other places too. So for instance, we're going to slice, we want to hold it basically that same way. Just turn it this way, and then we make a line, okay, draw a line, and that's slicing the opponent, but it's basically the same grip, okay. All right, so the first thing we're going to look at is chopping. Chopping starts like this, over your shoulder, and then you bring, I'll do it slow, your arm is bent, see, not straight, but not really low, a little bit higher than your shoulder, and you bring it down, pull down on the handle, the blade is just following. Then there's a little, then I'll show you where my hand is. Right now I'm pointing at it, see, pointing at it. Then my wrist is going to come up. And here's where I was pointing. It comes up, see. My arm is like at a 45-degree angle. The sword should be in a straight line with my arm, okay? And pointed down 45 degrees. Okay, and higher than I pulled it down. So first we pull it down, and then we pull up to do the chopping. Okay, so that is the first thing. Well, I'll do two things. We talked about two things so far. The first thing is, one is chop, and then the other is tip up. Now tip up is similar. Here's where my hand should be for tip up. Push down, and the tip is going to rotate around the center of mass when you push on it, okay? But you also have some of your wrist muscles, whatever, pulling it, all right? Tip up, and then it should go straight up and down, okay? If we don't start over your shoulder, from here we do the chop. Pull up on the handle. Chop. See? Then push down, tip up. Your hand is going the opposite direction of the tip. You want the tip to come down, you pull up on the handle. Chop. Then push down, tip up. Okay? And remember, keep your two fingers around it with your thumb. And you use your little finger and your fourth finger to steady it, to balance, well, steady it, okay? Chop. Tip up. Chop. And at the end, make it straight. Okay, we don't want this shape. Look, we don't want that shape. Straight at the end. Okay, tip up. Chop. Tip up. Chop. Tip up. Okay, chop. Tip up. So for when you practice, it'd be good to find a mirror so you can get the tip up to be straight up. Later we'll have another one where this is, I can't see it, but it's level, okay? You have to like see that it is level. It's Okay, so you need a mirror for some of it just to practice with and feel it, so you get to feel it. Okay, so so those are the first two things. Basically, the first one is tip up, and the second one is chop. And you can do these two together then. So starting over your shoulder, you go chop, tip up. Okay? Chop, tip up. Now what people will do, if you're new, you will go like this, and you want to go basically chop. I don't know what that looks like exactly. Chop. I don't know what that is exactly. Okay. You want to do down chop. The thing that we just practiced for chop. 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 It needs to be in there. Chop. Okay. And you'll notice when you chop nicely, look, the tassel, if you have a tassel, when you do the chop, the tassel will jump. Okay. Jump. Because you're pulling up on the handle, you're pulling up on the tassel. Okay, it'll hop a little bit. If your tassel doesn't, you go like this, and the tassel just like is hanging down all the time, then you're not getting any energy into it, and it's probably not doing it right, because it has to have this in it. Okay, so if it doesn't have pulling up on the tassel at the end of the chop, then it's not exactly right. So it's not just put it there. It's down chop. Okay, the chop is at the end of the swing, but they're still connected together. So practice it a little bit on your own. Practice the chop. Okay. Okay, so stop. so here's where we have trouble. So we still need, this is what we need to work on, and it'll take some time. Okay, if it looks like this, so I showed you. I'm going to come down here with the handle, my hand, and it's going to end though here. Okay, down and up. My hand comes down and then comes back up. Okay, if you're going to end here, and you just go, that is not the energy. Okay, if you just go and unfurl it and just end, and your hand doesn't have that from down to up part in it, then it's not really the right energy. But that's something for you to work on. I know that it's not easy, and I know that because at the end of me teaching this, there's still people that cannot do it. Okay, I talk about at the end of the 9 months, or what is 6 or 9 months of going through the whole thing and telling them over and over to work on that, they still can't do it. All right, so if it were easy, they would be doing it. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. So, all right, so anyway, so that's in it. Okay, the chop. All right, that's 1, 2, and there's a third part. All right, so that will be the practice. The third part is from your tip up over here, okay, in front of you, and I'd say put your left foot forward. Okay, I'm still just standing up. My left foot forward. Then I want to swing it down. I want to hold it so it doesn't flop around. But I want to swing, make sure there's nothing behind you. Swing it down, and then swing it around and turn around and tip up. Okay? So I would say chop, tip up, and circle back. Okay? Okay, so circle back, we'll practice like this. We'll show it like this. From here in front, bring it down, keep this angle, okay? And then once it's past, here's my hand straight down. Once it's past that, if I open it here, my tip will hit the floor. Okay, so I don't want that. So bring it past that, then let it swing out. Okay. Then how far can you go? Can you make it go tip up from here? No. How do you make it go tip up? You rotate your whole arm. Okay, and then do tip up. Okay, so from here, you swing it back, let it extend, and rotate your arm, tip up. And it looks like this when you can do it. Okay, just smooth and even and easy, okay? So swing it back, tip up, back. Okay. So again, just try that. Circle, tip up, circle back. Okay. Okay. If you've just taken the saber so far, then right away you can realize that this is already more complicated. We didn't have anything like this in the saber. Okay, the saber was hold it like this and chop things with it. Okay, that's basically the saber. Okay, for the sword, right away you need to like change your grip and get the sword to move around. Yeah, Judy.
Mike, when you get back and you rotate and get to tip up, do you
Yeah.
still have that thumb crossing those two fingers? I'm having trouble
Yes.
keeping.
Here you have that. Okay, here, and at the end of this, it also needs to be that way. Now, see, mine looks like this now. Look, it is not. See, it's not like this.
Uh-huh.
It is open a little bit because I need to do that, but it's still they're both fingers are hooked around it,
Uh-huh.
and the thumb is pushing and crossing. Okay,
Okay. But it's a
so
little bit different in its grasp than when you
that's
start.
right. That's right. You have to change your grip. In the saber, we had to change the grip a little bit too, right? But basically, because when we circle it, and then when we're going to throw it out, we have to open it and then throw it, and then we come up underneath it. Okay, so there's a little bit of changing your grip. The saber has the same way to hold it actually, but but um, but mainly we get by with most of the saber just holding it like shaking hands basically. So this one it moves around a lot. Okay, so that's the most important thing I think about it is to learn it is to practice this three things: chop, tip up, circle back, and tip up again. So that will be most of the sword handling really, and and so it's good to start with it and practice it every day or every other day or whatever, and work on it till it becomes very easy. Then you can let it go. Then you can forget about it because your body can do it. Okay, but if you don't work on it, you won't get there, and then you're either you will feel like I don't have good control of it. It just won't feel right. It won't look right either. So work on it. All right. So here we'll do it the three together then. Okay. So from
Mike,
here
I
we'll
have a
start.
question.
Yeah.
Mike, when we're in that back position, are we still having the hugging shape?
Oh yes.
Always. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
So we
you.
have the same body shape as the hand form and all of it. Okay. I would say here, your arm is something like 45 degrees. Okay, and then tip up, and when you bring it back, it's still like 45 degrees. Okay, it's just the difference from here and here. I turned my body to do this. Okay. So here my body to do this, and when I would say this when you circle it, you're kind of trying to keep it in a plane. Okay. So your body, the most it could be is out to the side. Okay. So if you don't turn, it would be like this. That's wrong. You'd have to turn your body. And I said put your left foot forward. When you do this, you shift back basically. Okay. I would say even here, I would bring my toe in. Then I would come up like this. We'll do the three together, and then chop. And I would put my step out a little bit, chop, tip up, circle back, and bring my foot in a little, something like that. But you don't have to bring your foot in. But I want you to feel how you go forward and some weight going forward with this. Then the tip up is not much change weight. And then here, shift back, okay? And swing it. Swing it with your body weight shifting. Chop, tip up, circle, tip up. DJ, how is your stick? Is your stick too thick? your stick too thick or is it good? Is it 1 inch?
It's okay. It'll be better when I get the sword out of the box.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I have a like a 1 inch pipe kind of stick I could use, and it still feels about right still. But if it's too
Yeah.
thick of a stick, you'd have trouble, I think, manipulating it.
It feels like it might be too light. So
Yeah. Oh. Uh-huh. Okay. All right. So try those 3 things: chop, tip up, circle back, and then just to continue, just bring it back up. Just from here, just pick it up. The handle comes up. The tip is down. Then step, chop, tip up, circle back. If you're new, be careful of your floors. Okay. Rita's taking some risk over there. I'm on a carpet, but Rita has a nice floor there.
That's why you have to keep your wrist cocked.
Yeah, that's right. There goes the tap.
Mike,
Yeah.
when we circle back, where am I looking? Am I looking at the sword or at an imaginary opponent on the other side? Where should my eyes be?
Well, uh, I look down a little bit. All the time, we do Tai Chi, so we have to keep our head up. All right, top of our head points up. But your eyes can look down. They can look. It depends. If the opponent is in front of you, you should look straight ahead. Kind of look parallel to the energy punching, for instance. And if you were thrusting, you would thrust, and you could see where the tip is. You don't look at the tip, okay? Don't look at the tip, but look in the direction that you're going. Here, the circling is back, so I say you just look back and tip up, and that's enough. If you look straight back, you could see the whole sword, okay? We need to see
Okay.
the target in an expansive way, right? We don't want to focus on the target, so we just want to look in a certain direction, and see everything and be calm. So there's nothing we're not doing anything, so I'd say there's nothing to look at. I'd say when you were going to chop, if you go like this, then you would look, because the energy's going down. You'd look down, right? But not necessarily at the tip, but just the same 45 degrees down, basically. And then you'd see a big circle of what's going on, right? When we circle it back like this, we want to look to the side enough that we can see the tip and see if there's some, going to be. So we just want to have good habits, so that, like for instance here, we don't want to go like this and circle it and don't look. Okay, that's dangerous. All right, so you go and circle down and already kind of looking, and then you would stop naturally if there's somebody in the way or something. Right, so we want to make good habits so that we're not just swinging our sword all around, carelessly.
Okay. Thanks.
Mike,
Kelly?
would you mind doing it facing us?
Okay. All right, so from here, chop. And here I'm not going to bow stance. I'm just shifting a little bit more weight on the front, really. Okay. Then tip up. Then circle back. Then up by your shoulder again. Chop. Tip up. Circle back. Chop. Tip up. Circle back. Chop, tip up, circle back. So I want you to practice this, and I want you to remember this part, is that your hand has to go down, and then the chopping has up in it, okay? Your hand comes up, that's the chop. Not still going down, that's not a chop, okay? That's not a good chop. where it just, you put your hand where you want to stop and just let it finish, okay? That is not a good looking chop. So chop, then the hand goes down for tip up. Then when you circle it back, it circles back and hand down again, because the tip up is hand down, okay? So it's not, tip up is not use your wrist energy, okay, to do it. It's use the pressure on the handle and get it to rotate around its center of mass. And then that minimizes by a lot how much energy you have to put into it. Pushing down, you should have that kind of energy. Moving your wrist up and move your arm up and down, that kind of energy. That's the kind of energy we are using, okay? Not this energy. This is not chopping energy, okay? And this is not tip up energy, okay? But it goes with the major of this, okay? Of using your arm, okay?
Like on the pull back,
Yeah.
when you did it facing us, it looked like you're really turning and the sword goes all the way to the back when you facing the opposite direction. When you go tip up, where is your arm in relationship to your body? Still back way where it was when you swing, when you were swinging all the way back?
I'll do it this side. I swing it like this, and then look, from basic, not think so much. See here,
Yep.
tip up.
Those same
From
places?
here, tip up. Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does.
Okay, yeah, so you swing it, and you swing it not just to where you want to end and rotate it and bring the tip up. You need to come higher so you can push down and make the tip go up. So swinging the tip around, it has a meaning, okay? And we don't talk too much about the meaning, I guess, but this meaning is basically cutting. So the things that you could do so far, we talked about chopping. Chopping is using the middle of the blade and chop, and something breaks into two pieces, okay? Like chopping wood, right? You break it into two pieces, you hit it. Here you maybe cut a watermelon. That's what you usually would use your sword for. And cuts it into two pieces. Cutting is using the tip, okay? So this, you go like this, that can cut, okay, with the tip. So for instance, somebody might be, well, here's the best example. Somebody is there, and you go like this, and then you go like this. That's cutting, okay? They're there with their weapon. You deflect their weapon. I'll turn sideways. And then you go, and then the tip comes around and cuts them on their hand that they hold the weapon with, right? So now, maybe you cut their thumb off or something. Now they can't use their weapon against you. Okay, before you attack them, you defend yourself, and then if you could, you hurt them in a way that they can't use their weapon, and then you could kill them, right? So you don't, it isn't yet like in the movies where it's just, hack, and then they're just put their sword there. It's to try to connect to them and turn it into something. Turn the deflect into an attack, and that attack is cutting, okay? But we're not at that point. I won't tell you. This story goes with that movement. But anyway, this movement is called Casting the Fishing Rod. Okay, so that's cutting. So that's cutting there. So I think this is basically a cutting movement, cutting up. Okay, so if you want to cut up, you need something behind it. This is a strong cut up. We do other places. We do this kind of thing. That's the same thing. You want to lift the tip up, you push down. You want to lift the tip up, you push down. This one is Phoenix lifts its head. This one is bird picks up earth in its beak. Okay, so if that's only coming both of those halfway, 45-degree angle, but we practice, coming all the way up to 90 degrees over and over everywhere in this circling, and then the more like martial parts are just to 45 degrees, because then it's still pointing forward, right? If they're coming towards you, they tip up really fast and they run into it, something like that, okay? But if you don't want to do that and try to use your wrist energy, even if you got hurt here and you couldn't, you can still push down. Okay, so anyway, that's all we talked about so far. Those two uses so far. The chopping, that's the middle of the blade. The tip is cutting. Slicing uses the whole blade basically, and you drag it across their stomach, for instance. Okay, that's slicing. Deflecting, we call this hanging down, I think. If they come towards you with their weapon like this, then you can go like this and touch it and just follow it. It's just hanging down, basically, but you just can follow it that way. And that was half of that other movement I showed you. You come this way and you cut. Okay, so that's another application. So if you look in the journals and find where they talk about, I think in the first week of it, they were talking about all the different ways to do, and it might even be in the handbook. I can't remember where exactly it was, but they had all the little things that the names in Chinese of what these are all called, and English of what they're called. Those are the different techniques. Those are the techniques that we're practicing. Okay. Okay. So any questions on that? I want you to do that practice as much as you can. Don't hurt your. How do you feel? How does your arm feel? Okay. Lindsay's got a saber. It's a little heavier, so it might hurt more. Okay, so don't hurt yourself. Okay, the saber's heavier than the sword, but if you do it correctly, then you don't actually use these muscles all that as much as if you do it wrong, right? So if you're doing this and doing this and trying to do that with it, then you're going to tire this out. So maybe the most you should do is 50 times of this circling thing, okay, a day or something like that, so you don't overdo it. But don't overdo it for any of it. Do what you can, but work on it and try to get it. Put some energy or some focus on getting that technique, and then that will be good, and you won't have to be corrected all the way through the form. Okay. All right. So any questions on it? Okay. Well, then let's do the beginning of the form. I like to, some of the students here know me. I like to make progress, okay, in the and not go really slowly. Some teachers used to be that if you didn't do it perfectly, they wouldn't teach you the next thing. So you might work on one movement a lot, and then like, okay, finally they'll teach you the next movement. And I don't know who would put up with that nowadays. If you don't even know it, how are you going to love it enough to want to do that? So I have no hold over you to make you do any of this, right? It's up to you. So I can show you how to do things. You have to practice, and then you'll get it or you won't, and that's fine. It's fun to still learn it and not practice it. But all right, so this is the beginning. I'll show you first, and then we'll do it together. So remember, you hold it like this in 2 fingers, and you hold on to the tassel. Then you stand with your feet shoulder width apart, your right hand open, just like the hand form, basically standing, except you're holding the weapon. Remember, that's in your elbow. Then we can try it together, I guess. From here, you swing your arms forward and you turn them, and right away make sword fingers. I guess I didn't talk about sword fingers, but it's basically what you're doing with your left hand. Do it in your right hand. If you were Cub Scout, I don't know about Girl Scouts, but Cub Scouts, it's 2 fingers and 2 fingers bent across, and you touch the 2 fingers with your thumb. That's the Cub Scout salute. I think so. And the Boy Scout was 3 fingers. Okay, so Cub Scout was 2 fingers. Okay, so right away, swing them forward and turn them, and to be palm facing more out, and make the we call sword fingers. Okay, then bring them all the way up, point them forward, palm facing up. Right away, turn them. Okay, so they're starting to face up. Swing up, palm facing up. Okay. Then from there, I'll turn sideways. From there, bring your hands in level towards you. Okay, and your elbows coming out. Good. Okay. Bring them in, and then from here, as far as they can go in, then circle down. Keep your elbows out. Just your hands go down. That's going to bring the tip towards your head. Okay, so we have to be careful. Be careful. Bring it towards your head. How do you do this one? Hold on. Here. Okay. We want to end up like this. All right, so here, down, and as it comes towards your head, your tip, get it away from your elbow now, so that you're going to turn palm out, palm down. Down, and palm down and miss your face. Okay? And then come down, it comes in front of you and hang down a little bit. Hang the tip down more. Bring it forward, and as soon as it's cleared your body, bring it back to your elbow. Okay? And then push down. Okay? So be careful. You know, this takes, you need to practice this. You don't want to cut yourself. Okay? All right. So the only one that's, Dita does not have to worry at the moment. Okay? Because hers not long enough. But, all right, so from here, we go like this. From here. We turn it to be palm up and bring it up, palms up, shoulder width apart. Then in, and your elbows come out. Then down, and then let go of your elbow, okay? Bring the tip in front of you so it's not going to hurt you. And then bring your hands out to the side, palm down. And then, as soon as you can, clear your body and bring it back up to your forearm. And then bring it at the same time to straight out in front of you. And then push down. Okay? So that's opening. So here, we haven't let go of the tassel yet. Just bring it back around. And when you do that too, be careful, okay? Be careful. It's sharp, okay? Oh, remember when you signed up for this class, the insurance waiver that is implied in there, okay? You agreed that you know that swords are sharp, okay? All right, so we start with our palm open. Okay, and sword in front, good. Then swing it forward, turn, rotate your arms, palm, sword fingers and palm facing more forward and palm up. Good. And then in, keep it palm up as much as you can. And then down, don't move your elbows. And then let go of your forearm, and have it miss your body, the tip. And then about now, my hands are kind of the corner about, you could bring it back up to your arm, and it's coming to the pointing straight ahead again, and then pushing down. Okay, so that's the opening. So you do that on your own. You do that a few times. I'll watch you. Remember, it's on your, at the end, it's on by your elbow, touching your elbow, okay? Not your shoulder. Don't aim for your shoulder. Get it back on your forearm. It'll come up along your elbow. But at the end, we do kind of want to point straight up and down, okay?
Mike, it looks like at the end, your sword is behind your arm. How did you get
Yes.
there? Can you show again how you get there from
Okay.
that point?
Okay, so we're like this, all right? And then we swing it up. I'll get a little closer, I guess. I don't know if this, can you see
Yeah,
it?
that's good.
From here, from here. And then you go like this. Then you go like this, down, hands down. And now you move the tip out of your way of your head and down. And then your palm is facing down. And then you bring it back up. And now it's on the bottom, right? It's under. And then when you push down, it's behind you.
Yeah.
Okay. On your own, do it a few times. Yeah, practice your left hand if you need that first, I guess. But once you have that going on, you need to make your sword fingers with your right hand and keep them all the time. Well, until you take the sword and then you keep the sword fingers in your left hand. And the sword fingers, I'll just explain again. The sword fingers are this Cub Scout salute, okay? So this Cub Scout salute, but this is not the Cub Scout salute, okay? Together, and usually lifted Okay, so here it's more straight, but at the end it's going to be lifted and then, okay, so just try to maybe in both hands hold this pose and see what it feels like and see if you can do it. Okay, okay, Alan. Kelly, you know the sword, right?
Most of it, probably about 4/5 of it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I can stumble through to the end, but I can't do it very well.
Okay. Okay, so we start like this. Remember, start with your palm open, your right palm open. Then you swing them and make the sword fingers as they start to move. But when we start, our palm, we have our palm, and then it starts to go, and then palm up. We're coming up, palm up. Okay, not palms facing each other, palm up. Now maybe all the way up, maybe it's too hard, but basically palm up. So when we get up here, we can be palm up. Okay, and then when you bring it in, still palm up. Palm up, good, and then down, and then palm facing down, and then swing forward and bring it to your elbow and push down. And when you push down, when you bring it up, then it's not straight anymore. It's because when you swing it out like this, your palm's going to be lifted. So when you bring it out, it's still palm lifted, okay? You can't do that with the left hand because holding something, it has to push down. It has to push down to keep it on your elbow. But the right one should be lifted, okay? Then push down. In the hand form, we bring our hands up, and it is kind of straight. But when we start pushing down, the elbow bends, the wrist bends, okay? So but here, since it's already like lifted, so it will be lifted here, okay? And then push down. Okay, Lindsay, that's good. Okay, so that looks so. I think everybody's doing it. Anybody have any questions? Any questions on it? Dita, palm up. Oh wait, no, you're pushing down now. Okay, palm down then. Yeah. No, palm up if you're going to bring it. Palm up. Yeah. When you come up with it, it's palm up. Palm up. Okay, and then before you push down, it's palm down. Okay. Okay. And I guess I would say that the circle from palm, where your palm is up to here, that's the sort of typical swinging our arm that we have, you know, in the hand form, with palm up, circle, palm down. So that's just out to the side, okay. But you can't do that here. You cut your neck or your ear or something. So you need to get the tip out of the way to do that with your left hand, okay. So that's basically what's going on with the left hand. Okay. Good. Okay. Good, Alan. Okay, so Dita, it's bring them up, palm up, then hands in, and then down and out, and then back to pointing forward, and okay, and then push down. Okay, so I would say I would count it this way, I guess. Up, in, down, and out, and then forward, and then push down. Okay. Okay. And I'll say this. We want the two hands to be doing almost the same thing. So here we start this. We're holding a saber, so we have to hold it this way. The other hand we're going to have open. But they're going to both be sword fingers now, basically. Then they're going to both be palm up. They're both going in, the same shape. They're both going down, all right? They're both coming out and being palm down. This one we have to worry about the tip, so it's a little bit different. And then they're both palm down and then both pushing down. So they're symmetrical as much as we can. They're the same as much as we can, well, because we have a sword in one hand, all right? But otherwise, you know, it would be a symmetrical type of thing. Like the hand form is symmetrical up and down for opening. And it used to be, I'll say this, I'm not an expert on, but it used to be that we started the form just like this, okay, already behind us, okay, and it just started that way. And I guess they decided a long time ago that it looked more, you know, the people that learned the weapons, they were like, what do you call them, government officials, high level, high class type of officials. So for Tai Chi, for other martial arts, they were just everybody, and they looked down on martial arts, but they tried to make Tai Chi look different or whatever, be different. And so people learning Tai Chi, they wanted it to be more refined. And so they decided it was more refined to hold it like this way. And so that's why when they walk around and they start this way, they march around with it, they hold it this way, okay? And then, but then to really use it, it needs to be this way, basically, because you're going to take it. You can't, I guess you could take it this way, but you're going to take it from here. So the form originally started like this, probably just up and down, and then they started doing their thing. But it wasn't refined enough, like how to hold it. So I don't know if that's Taoism, I'm not sure what. But they stuck this other thing. We stuck on the front of it to make it look more refined to start with. But then you do have to you know, have another movement just to take it. Just to get it in the right starting position. Okay, so, well, if you have any questions, I think everybody's did okay today. I'm not sure if I might put the video online. There's not a lot, if there's not a lot of you guys on it, it's just going to be me on it. I'm standing here just looking at you most of it, so. But there's a little bit of something, I guess you could look at. So practice the opening, practice the three-part thing, chop, tip up, and circle back. If that is too much for you, if you forget how to do, for instance, the circling back, then I would focus on this part, just this. This is another one, just the two-part we talked about. Chop, tip up, chop, tip up, okay, by itself. And because that lets you hold it correctly, okay, in this tip-up position. Chop, tip up. Even you notice when you chop, your hand position not right up next to the guard anymore, right? See, it's away, but it's your finger is touching the guard, but your thumb, the tiger's mouth is not in the guard. We want to basically be, when I say close to the guard, basically the idea is your your palm is flat with the blade, okay? And my sword, the blade, the handle is thinner one direction than the other, okay? So it is rounded, but still there's a flatter part, okay, than the other. So you want your palm to be there, and you want to turn this into like a joint, okay, where this kind of thing is going on in your hand, okay? So you don't want to do this and get under it and roll around this direction, okay? So basically here you can be like this, holding it like this, like shaking hands with it, basically tip up, or like this, but still palm, and the blade are flat, okay, parallel, I guess you'd say, all right, and not get on top of it. This is another thing I have to tell people very often, so I'll tell you at the beginning. You can't even see me. At the beginning is we want to always keep your palm like flat with the blade, okay? So sometimes you're gonna, where would it be? Sometimes you might want to be like this, and it might feel easier if you got, oh, I know, when you do thrusting, for instance. Thrusting needs to be like this. The blade is flat. We call this standing. Here the blade is flat. And the palm needs to be palm up at this point. But very often when people do the thrust, they're like holding it from the side now, because that seems easier, okay? I'll turn it this way. Their palm is facing this direction, the blade is flat. That is wrong, okay? So however you get to there and then you end up like this, just because it's easier to do, you need to learn how to do this way and get your palm under it, okay? And that puts your pommel above your wrist, okay? So if you're doing like this, the pommel is not, you're not under the pommel, okay? You're to the side, okay? So I'm just telling you some little tips now, and I will keep going over and over them, and hopefully you will do it, okay? And then those will be habits, and then we won't have to talk about them anymore, okay? And that make everything better, okay? The sword form is kind of long, 67 movements we say, and I can do usually like 2 a week. So what is that? That's about 30 weeks. So I've taught it, I think, in 6 months, but it goes 6 to 9 months for this form. The saber we do like usually in 3 months or a little bit less, something like that. So it is kind of long, but it's fun. Again, it's for women. It's more like, it's kind of like more like a women's type of form, kind of, because it's not that heavy, and the energy is kind of more light with it, and more like finesse with it. And the saber is more like a man's thing, because it's just sort of hacking and heavy, and you put more energy into it. Okay, so the weapons for women. All right. So we'll stop here. Thanks very much, and we'll see you next week. Okay. Good job. All right. Thanks very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Mike.
Bye-bye.
Have a good
Thank
rest of
you.
the weekend.
Mike, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Mike, can I ask a question real fast?
Sure.
Am I in the right class because I have the saber, or should I be joining a different one?
Well, we're not teaching the saber at the moment. So if you want to be in this class, that's fine.
Okay.
And you can use a saber as a sword to practice the sword with it.
Okay, as long as it's okay.
Do you know the saber form?
I do not. No, I'm just new. And I started Tai Chi like pretty recently as well. But I'm actually a fencer, and I fence saber, and so my parents were like, well, you're doing Tai Chi, you'll enjoy saber then. And so they gave me a saber, so I was like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we have the saber. I have the saber, I think, online if you want to see the class, the previous class, I think. All right, so on YouTube, on our YouTube page, we have the first 3 sections of the hand form. You've learned the whole hand form?
I've learned the first 2 sets.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
like I said, I'm a beginner.
okay. So we have we have all 3 sections on there, and we have the saber on there separately, and we have a different form on there too. So they're broken into by these different things. So you can see how to do the saber if you're interested in trying to do that. So we teach how to do it, but it is, I don't know, you're probably maybe just looking at me right now, and I'm looking at the whole class. So it doesn't show the whole class doing things, it just shows like me. And so I'm teaching something that'll be in there, and then half the time I'm just talking to people, and I'm not doing it, so that's boring. That's pretty hard.
That's fine. Thank you. I really
But,
appreciate that.
Yeah, so this is fine. Yeah, for we don't go that fast, I would say that. So if you have done this, already started the hand form and not finished it, the hand form, I'd say the first two sections has got most of the stuff in it anyway, and so do what you like. And but if you're interested in the saber, then you can also look on YouTube, and that teaching is on there. And as we do these classes, I'll put them up on YouTube also. So
Okay,
you
thank
can
you.
review them there.
And then I have one more question really fast. The tassel, where do you get the tassel, and do they have different meanings, like different colors, or I don't know much about
Our
it.
association, that's yangfamilytaichi.com, Yang Family Tai Chi Chuan Association. They sell those things. Where do you live?
In Long Beach, California.
Oh, okay. So you go yangfamilytaichi.com, and they have a store there, and they sell tassels. Okay, so you can buy that, and then the way it works is you can loop it around that loop if you want, or you can get something like this. This is a collapsible sword. I think you can get this online for like $15. I'll show you. It has a little cap. And
Oh,
then
wow.
like,
Oh, nice. Oh,
See?
that's cool.
this
That's
is
really cool.
metal,
Yeah.
and this is plastic actually. But
Yeah.
then you can do the Tai Chi with it, and it's got that little sort of baby tassel.
Yeah.
But you could put another tassel on it if you wanted. But anyway, I think the tassels are cheap. I think they're like $8 or $10 or something.
Okay.
And,
That's awesome. Thank you.
okay. The saber usually we use. I'll show you. I don't know if you got this. We have we call flags. So for the
Yeah.
saber, did you get this with yours?
No, I don't have one. So, but that's why I was looking at that one, and then I saw that you had tassels on the other sword. It's different.
Right. So the saber we use flags. Okay. And the flags, basically I said we do slashing, or we do we also have chopping, but we don't go like this for the chopping. The chopping is just like this, just a 90-degree angle, and they don't hardly usually get in the way or anything. So they're not as you don't have to worry very much about them. On the tassel, we have to wrap around you. So anyway, so this goes with the saber,
Yeah.
and then the tassel goes with the sword.
Okay.
Okay.
So it seems almost like I should get the other sword to do this class, or does it not? Is it okay to still practice even with?
You can do
It's quite
whatever.
heavy to do this chop. I have to say, like, bringing it up. It's like that.
Yeah.
Is a bit.
Yeah. No,
heavy,
you need to push. You need to push down on it, and that will
Right.
take the strain off of this part. Okay. So pushing down. You could get a sword probably similar to this. I'm not totally positive. From the association, she had this. The current one that somebody else had. That looks like an association one actually.
It is. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So this association one, the scabbard it looks kind of similar to that one. So that's like a newer style, and it's like close to $150 or something. And shipping is also expensive. But they also have like $100 one, and that would be good. This is wood and metal, and it has a certain feel to it, okay, and a certain of lightness because it is lighter than the saber. The saber's heavier, so it would be good to have that. If you have that collapsible one, it doesn't have exactly the same feel. If you use even a stick, a little pipe or something, then it has a different feel. It doesn't have the same feel as a sword. But at the very beginning, when you're learning, it doesn't matter that much. You're basically learning the hand techniques and the order of the form, actually. And then you practice a lot. So by the time you learn the whole thing, or maybe you might decide you don't want to go any further or something, but if you learn the whole thing, then you would want to get good at it, then you probably want to get a sword then. But that's, maybe you don't mind spending money on it. It's up to you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So the association, I just looked, they have a couple swords, like a $99 one and like a $140 one or something. And the difference, the more expensive one for sure is stainless steel. The $100 one I'm not sure about, but you can write to like sales at Yang Family Tai Chi and ask them. If I asked her if it was grooved. Okay, I'll show you here.
Oh yeah.
See, this is not flat. It's got a ridge here, and then it's like scooped.
Right. Yeah, I see the edge.
Okay, yeah. See, so it's, and they used to sell another one that was more like flat, and that was made out of spring steel. Okay, a different kind of steel, and it made it more wiggly. Okay, this is kind of stiff, if you can see.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah.
But you can buy other swords. My wife, we did buy a sword online, and it was kind of like flat, and then as it got out here, it became very wiggly. Because people like to do this a little bit. If you throw it out, and you can put some energy, then it would wiggle a lot at the end, and that would be short. So they wanted to like make it do that. We don't really like that much, but so this one is stiffer. I don't know what the $100 sword is like, but I'm sure that it's probably. I asked Fang Hong, that's the association. That's our teacher's wife, Fang Hong. I don't know if you know her, but anyway, and she said that it was stainless steel. So if they're both stainless steel, I think. Oh, I asked her if it was grooved because only the grooved ones are stainless steel. She said it was grooved. So I think it's just the old style, and then they have newer ones. That's all. So she's selling them cheaper, I think.
All right.
But maybe you get a picture. They didn't really show a good picture.
Yeah. It's all good. Thank you. You gave me so much information. That was very helpful.
Oh, good. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, nice to meet you.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, nice meeting you.
Oh, good. All right.
See you next week.
See you next week. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.